All right, let's talk about crypto. You hear the words all the time, right? Bitcoin, blockchain, Dogecoin, NFTs. It feels like everyone's talking about it, but what does any of it actually mean? Well, you've come to the right place. We are going to break this all down.
Yeah, you've seen the headlines, you've heard the buzzwords, and if you're feeling a little lost in it all, you are definitely not alone. But don't you worry, we're going to untangle this whole thing step by step. You know, to really get what crypto is all about, we have to zoom out a bit. We have to look at the story of money itself. Because cryptocurrency didn't just pop up out of nowhere. For a lot of people, it's the next logical chapter in a really, really long story.
I mean, think about it. First, we had stage 1, barter. You know, I'll trade you my cat for your horse. Which is great, unless you don't want a cat. So then we got stage 2, coins. Shiny things made of precious metals that everyone just agreed had value. Much easier. Then came stage 3, paper money. Way lighter, more convenient, and it's valuable just because the government says so. And that brings us to right now, stage 4, digital money, which when you boil it down is really just a bunch of numbers on a bank's private spreadsheet.
So if tapping your card is stage 4, what comes next? Well, this is exactly where crypto makes its entrance, proposing a whole new phase, stage 5.
So what is it? A cryptocurrency is 100% virtual. Forget coins, forget paper bills. The absolute best way to picture it is as one enormous shared spreadsheet. A giant public list of who's paid what to who. And this massive spreadsheet, it's called a ledger.
And right here, this is the fundamental difference. With the money we use today, every single bank has its own separate private record of transactions. With crypto, everybody on the network shares one single public ledger. That's the core idea that changes everything.
So why is this such a big deal? Well, first off, it's decentralized. That means no single company, no government, no person is in charge. This also makes it way more accessible. All you need to use it is an internet connection. You don't need a bank account. And because there are no bank middlemen, you can send money internationally almost instantly with super low fees.
Okay, but if everyone shares this spreadsheet, what's to stop someone from just typing in, "I have $1 billion"? How does it all stay secure? Well, the answer lies in a really clever piece of technology called blockchain.
Now, this is a super important point. Blockchain is not Bitcoin. It isn't a currency. Blockchain is the secure technology, the special kind of ledger that makes cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin possible. Think of it this way. Blockchain is the engine, and Bitcoin is just one brand of car. Let's just walk through this nice and slow. When you make a transaction, it gets bundled up with others into a new block. This block gets a totally unique, tamper-proof code. It's called a hash, but you can just think of it like a digital fingerprint. And here's the crucial part. It's also stamped with the fingerprint of the block that came before it. This creates a link, a chain. Then, this new block gets added to that public chain for everyone to see. And here is where the magic happens. If you try to go back and change a block, even just a tiny little bit, its unique fingerprint, its hash, changes completely. That instantly breaks the link to the next block in the chain, which breaks the link to the block after that, and so on. It sets off a domino effect. The whole chain breaks, and the fraud becomes instantly obvious to every single person on the network.
And the scale of this security is just immense. To successfully fake a Bitcoin transaction, you wouldn't just need to alter one block. You'd have to alter it on the majority of the computers in the entire network. We're talking about hacking over 500,000 computers, all at the exact same time. It's pretty much impossible.
So the technology is incredibly clever, no doubt about it. But it is not perfect. It comes with some really exciting promises, but also some very, very real problems. You usually hear about 4 big criticisms. First, volatility. Prices are super speculative and they can swing like crazy based on news or even just a single tweet. Second, acceptance. You can't really buy your groceries with it yet. Third, the environment. The process of verifying all these transactions uses a gigantic amount of electricity, though newer methods are being worked on to fix this. And finally, there's the fear that it's the perfect currency for criminals.
But let's take a closer look at that last point. The data actually shows that only about 0.34% of crypto transactions are tied to illegal activity. Now, for good old-fashioned cash, that number is estimated to be as high as 5%. So the facts don't really line up with the fear.
And here's the main reason why. Crypto isn't truly anonymous. The correct term is pseudonymous.
So your real name isn't attached to your wallet, but your wallet's unique address, your public key, is, and it's permanently baked into that public ledger. Every single transaction you ever make is right there for anyone to trace. Cash, on the other hand, is way more untraceable.
Okay, so beyond the core technology, this whole culture has sprung up around crypto, and it's kind of like the Wild West, full of speculation, inside jokes, and digital art that's taken on a life of its own.
A lot of people treat crypto less like a currency and more like an investment, creating portfolios with different coins like Ethereum or Cardano. But, and this is so important, it's way more of an optimistic gamble than a strategic investment. The value's all over the place. So let me be crystal clear. This is absolutely not financial advice.
And then you have NFTs, non-fungible tokens. You might want to sit down for this. Non-fungible is just a fancy way of saying it's one of a kind. So an NFT is basically a digital receipt secured by that same blockchain technology that says you own a digital file, like a picture or a video. It doesn't stop anyone from right-clicking and saving a copy. It just gives you the official bragging rights.
And people are paying for those bragging rights, big time. An NFT of this digital drawing of a Gucci ghost sold for $3,600.
But it gets so much wilder. The founder of Twitter sold an NFT of his first ever tweet, just 5 words. The price? $2.9 million.
And this one is just mind-blowing. An artist's digital collage, a single JPEG file, sold at a famous auction house for $69 million. The buyer gets the file and the digital receipt. And that's it.
And really, nothing captures the bizarre, unpredictable nature of this world better than Dogecoin. It was literally created as a joke based on a dog meme. But then people started buying it for fun, which drove the price up, which made more people buy it, and that propelled its value so high that people have become actual, real-life millionaires from a joke currency.
So that brings us to the big final question. When you look at all this, the brilliant technology on one hand and the million-dollar JPEGs on the other, is this the beginning of a new financial future? Or is it just one of the most fascinating and complex bubbles in history? The truth is, right now, nobody knows for sure.